right around 2:30 this afternoon, officers got dispatched to 613 Broadway Southeast Family Dollar, and they were there to do a exchange for a domestic violence call. At this point in time, the manager of the store advised him that the individual that had just ran out of the store had committed shoplifting and was running off with merchandise. Officers pursued this individual on foot, and at one point in time the individual turned towards the officers and exposed to them that he had a firearm and that he did not want to go back to jail. Of course, officers gave the individual a little bit of room at this time, and the individual fled. Officers lost sight of this individual and then were notified that the individual had gone into a shed in the 400 block of Arno Southeast. At this point in time, officers began negotiating with the individual. The individual did discharge his firearm as officers were negotiating with him, and one officer did discharge their firearm at this point in time. The individual went back into the shed. It was made a SWAT call out. At this point in time, tactical units responded, and they used a drone to make sure that the individual was not injured from the shooting. When they saw that he was not injured from the shooting, they waited. When they had a warrant for the individual's arrest, this is about 2 hours had already passed that they tried to negotiate with the individual, give him commands. They attempted 60 phone calls to the individual with a throw phone. The individual then appears from the shed, grabs the throw phone, but at the same time is still possessing the handgun in his other hands. At this point in time, there's some quick motion, and one officer did discharge their firearm. The individual is deceased. We did recover a firearm on scene, and the scene is being processed. Both officers will go on standard leave as usual, and hopefully by the time we get a briefing, a full briefing on this in the near future, we'll have more information about what exactly occurred in the second and the first shootings.
What's a domestic violence exchange?
It was unrelated. Officers just happened to be parked there. I think they were helping somebody exchange a wallet between individuals.
Okay. And did this person fire the gun they had?
From what we have been told and from the video we've seen is there is a discharge. You hear a shot fired, then you see the officer respond, and then you hear the officer say, "Stop firing at me."
And that was during the chase part of the
the initial confrontation with the individual when he was inside the shed.
He was in the shed. Is this his residence, or is this where he ended up?
No, this is just where he ended up.
And you mentioned that he said he didn't want to go back to jail. Do you know, can you tell us anything about his track record?
We have not been able to identify the individual, so it's probably going to be some time before we could identify the individual.
Is he an adult?
He is an adult male.
Do you have an age range? Maybe about how old?
No age range.
Were there folks inside the home at the time?
If they were, they would have been evacuated by tactical units.
So SWAT was the second shooter.
SWAT team was the second shooter. The first shooter was a patrol officer, field officer, I think is from open space. All right, thanks.